I cannot thank you enough for the gift you just gave our listeners and us, and thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm all, thank you. That's your choice.
Amazing.
All right. Well, I mean, what do we do now?
I don't know. How did those notes come out of a voice this early in the morning?
I leave.
Oh my God.
I leave in a lot of sleep.
I have to ask, how many takes do they make you do when you're filming the movie of the actual song?
You should answer that question. I have
Maybe
no idea.
1,720.
Just in one day. Just in one day, really.
Let me kind of set the table. Keala Settle is here. You heard her singing. Benj Pasek and Justin Paul were singing in the background, but also wrote the words, that beautiful song.
And the music, yeah.
The music.
It's their fault, basically.
It's really beautiful. And of course, so I took Bethany to go see Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
Remember you came and you met us that night.
Yeah.
I remember, we heard you guys talk about it after, and it warmed my heart. You guys talked about, like walking back from the theater, and I think you were crying, and we loved how it made you, like, your response to it was amazing.
That was the first time I have ever felt like any piece of art was actually talking to me personally. And I had to leave. Elvis was like, let's drive home together.
Get in the car with me. She's like, I need to spend some moments alone.
I walked home.
I need to process.
50 blocks home because I needed to think about it and ugly cry. And, it was the most beautiful, beautiful story. And the music was insane.
Well, and The Greatest Showman. You know what? I have a surprise for you.
No.
Good morning. Is the caller there?
Oh!
Good morning.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow! Does anyone want to guess who our secret caller is?
I call him the Egg, but he's known internationally as Mr. Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey. Good morning.
You're unbelievable. Good morning. The fact you can sing it at this hour of the morning, it just makes you even more unbelievable.
Where are you? You're supposed to be here as well.
Yeah, I'm literally in my pajamas. Sorry.
Oh, lucky.
Who hasn't been in your pajamas?
Hey!
You know what? And Hugh, every once in a while he'll call the show. You listen to us in the morning, take the kids to school, and to be able to have Keala and Benj and Justin here today to not only celebrate this song, but the whole movie, and have you call in icing on the cake. Thank you so much.
It is my pleasure. And by the way, guys, so proud of you winning the Grammy. That's Justin and Ben.
Yes.
A Grammy, which by my taking means they just have to win an Emmy Award now, and they may be the youngest recipients of all time of the EGOT. I'm not sure if your listeners know what an EGOT is, having an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. And I think there's 9 people in history who have that or something.
Wow.
And these guys are real close. So congrats on that, and congrats on the Oscar nomination.
Congrats on being Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, it's your fault the film got made, mate. It's all on you, man.
I'm not anybody except my daughter's father, who's annoying, trying to get her out to school.
All right, well, Hugh, thank you for calling in and surprising the kids. We appreciate it.
Love you, Huey. Love you.
Love you, mate. I'll talk to you on the street next time I see you with your mom and your family.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we freaked him out one
sorry.
day.
I love that you did. Anyway, congrats, guys. You're the best. Love you all.
Bye.
Take care. Love you.
Bye.
So,
That was awesome.
can I must make a confession. I haven't seen the film. I'm seeing it tonight.
That's so cool.
And then it just sagebrush across the studio.
No, seriously.
How could you?
We knew that this day was coming together, and I said, no, I want to see it the day that they come in. So I've been holding off for this. So where do we start? I mean, you get a phone call from a Hugh Jackman who says, hey, I need some music written for this film, and because I have some of the most incredible people who are auditioning for a part, and you all came together and you did it all, and how does it start?
It starts with these two, Justin and Benj.
No, it started, the way that we got involved was basically auditioning, pitching ourselves to write the songs for it. And it was really one song at a time. It was like a death battle every song. So we never got hired to write all the songs for the movie. It was just one song at a time.
Right.
They'd be like, yeah, we like that one, but then the next one you have to audition. So we just wrote one song at a time for all the songs in the movie. And then throughout the development process, we did workshops and stuff. And there were a few workshops that Keala was involved, and it was a lot of Broadway folks that were doing it. He was Hugh and Broadway folks, and with no guarantees of if it ever leads to anything, if it ever goes anywhere, if they ever get the part or anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was to figure out where the music fit and if the story could play, and if it could play, what music would work and what music wouldn't. And they, like I said, they weren't only presenting the music that they were writing and composing, they were also presenting some music of other composers and lyricists that they were. Yeah.
Which was like a little awkward.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you do like a crappier job on the non-word?
Yeah, we were like, Keala, don't belt it as well.
I know. But literally, it was like, you guys show it some love, show these songs the respect and love.
Absolutely.
Come on, great. But I like this one.
Did you write any that you guys said, no, this is not going to work. I don't like this one.
For every moment that there is like a song in the movie, there are at least 2 that are
really
cut.
Yeah.
So
Wait, name a song you cut.
Oh, I mean,
Let's go to the beginning one. You know,
Which one?
This is a ticket to the greatest show.
yeah.
Leave the troubles and away we go. Cannonballing through the night. Yes. I have like a steel trap memory, so which sucks. But
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Does she just do this sometimes? She just starts belting it out.
No,
you know, people are like musical theater people don't just walk around singing on the streets.
Yeah.
Keala Settle really
so
does.
sorry.
No, but you have to know we were doing a workshop of this, and there was a new song we wrote for the oddities and for the bearded lady to sing.
Right.
It was called "This Is Me," and we wrote this song, and Keala performed it for the first time ever anyone had ever heard it. All the big Fox there's an amazing video of it online. You can see it, and all the Fox executives were there. Everybody, all the producers, they all were there. And something inhabited her body, mind, and spirit as she performed this number. And then at the end of the read-through, basically like the president of the studio walked up to her and was like, "Hey, I have literally no idea who you are, but you're going to be starring in this film."
You just
and
booked
she,
it.
in that moment.
You booked
And
your
I was
first
like,
major
yeah,
motion
right. Where's
picture.
my check? And then I went on my merry way.
And then you got a call.
And then I was like, wait a minute.
It looks like, I mean, just watching the video of you performing the song with the whole cast and everything, it looks like the most amazing.
It was the most terrifying thing I've done in my life.
Why was it so terrifying?
Because I didn't want to sing it. I begged them. I actually asked them. I said, please, call someone else. I'll sing soprano for you, or I'll sing alto. I'll sing baritone for you. I just don't want to sing it. I was just afraid. I was afraid. I'm not one of those people, and I'm learning to not be, but without going too deep and turning it into an intervention situation. It was one of those things where I just wanted to show up and help and disappear.
You didn't want to be the one with the spotlight.
I didn't because I also knew that the impact of the song, just by reading the words and the lyrics and listening to the music, I already knew that there was something big for this number because of where we were currently in society, and I didn't want to be the one to deliver it. I was like, can you pick somebody else?
Wow.
Because I don't have the cojones to do this. And so they said, no, enjoy. And I have had to kind of grow into it and still am.
I can't imagine anyone else doing it.
Exactly.
No, I got to tell you, that scene when you're walking through with everybody and the feeling, just looking at everybody watching the movie with you and the goosebumps and it's so hard to describe it. You just got to smile from ear to ear because I'm like, this woman is taking on the damn world. It's just so awesome.
It's something
really
we all need to see
Yes.
for various reasons. Well, I mean, if you're just turning us on, by the way, Keala Settle is here with Benj Pasek and Justin Paul. We're talking, of course, about The Greatest Showman. To have this song performed on our show today was, like I said, just the gift and a half. I've never, ever experienced this ever, and I've been doing this. I mean, you grew up listening to me. How old am I? I'm old.
I'm not trying to put myself in an early grave, so don't set me up like that.
It was just amazing. But let's talk about when you sit down, Benj, Justin, and you watch a performer bring your song to life like she does every time she sings it. What does that make you feel?
You know, I feel like as a writer, your goal is to try to be as invisible as possible and just let the performer bring their power and their might. And that's the amazing thing when you get somebody like Keala to take on a song, to take on a message, and to know that you're writing for a voice like that, you get to disappear. And when you feel like you have disappeared in the best possible way and it becomes her song. It becomes
hers, yeah.
And then what's even more amazing is that when she sings it, other people feel like it becomes theirs. That to me is really cool when you kind of get to bow out and it becomes something bigger than you.
That's so amazing.
You
okay?
Yeah. Guys, have you ever really stopped to think how many lives you've touched with your music? Not just The Greatest Showman, but also, Dear Evan Hansen. You write songs that are so emotionally raw. And Keala, this is for you as well. I mean, we got a text, Benj, I think you received it last week, saying that this song, This Is Me, saved one of our listeners' lives. It affected him in a way that made him realize that he had something more to give to the world. And Does that hit you? I mean, do you hear from people? Do you understand this?
I think these guys know how to tap into that. I don't know how. I'm grateful that they do, because even with Dear Evan Hansen and the projects that they've done before with Dogfight and James and the Giant Peach, the music that and the lyrics that they're bringing to these stories that not only further the storytelling, but also reach a place where narrative cannot reach. And with this particular film that I've had the privilege and honor of just being a part of and being a vehicle for these guys, it's hard every day to wake up. And it's not hard in a bad way. It's hard in a good way, because you don't know what you have done, Justin and Benj. And it's hard for any of us sitting here to take credit for any of it, just because it comes from another place. I'm just honored to do it. I think we're all honored to be a part of it. And in a time and place that we're in now, who knew that we needed it so much just to be happy? And it's the corniest thing in the world. We've had, critics say, oh, it's way too cool to be happy right now. And you know what? Unfortunately, they're right. But we just took a stab at it because just for our own sanity. And I think for Hugh as well, and Michael Gracie, who directed the film, we needed that joy, and we still do. And I'll fight tooth and nail to hold on to it right now, because it gets me through the day. So when we get stories from other people saying, do you realize that you're getting me through the day? I had a doctor who works, a psychiatrist who works for post-traumatic stress disorder Army patients who weren't speaking and weren't talking about what was happening in their lives until she played that song for them. And all of a sudden they opened up. And they're in another country fighting for us. And so it's, I wake up dehydrated every day from crying. And every time I think I want to go run away, because I want to go run away and hide. Very much so. I was talking about that this morning, just because I thought, why does anybody care? And then I remember, and I hear the stories, and I talk to you, and I remember. And I talk to everybody in the studio, and I remember, and I hear it. And that's when I am gratefully taken out of myself and go, this has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. And I'm so okay with that. I'm so okay with that.
Isn't it amazing how, like you were saying, like the spoken word is one thing, but when you put it into a song, it's just everybody can relate to music, and music brings everyone together and just opens up these emotions that you don't even realize you have sometimes.
It's
you know,
universal language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that
it's amazing.
It pierces through, and it's emotional in content. It's not about intellect. It's about what you feel, and to get to connect to people on an emotional level, I think transcends everything.
And I think especially going to a theater show or going to a movie theater and having that communal experience right now in our country, people of a lot of differing opinions and people who need to come together, there's something really special that sort of forces everyone for those 90 minutes or those 2 hours or 2.5 hours to sit through and have the same experience. You have to have empathy as you watch this and you see characters of all walks of life telling their stories. I think it's a really good thing, whatever the movie is, it's something that we've written or something else, that it forces people to come together and forces people to go on someone's journey and to empathize for an hour and a half.
Especially when you feel really alone, to be in a theater, whether it be a movie theater, whether it be a stage theater, and to realize that, you are not unique in your loneliness, that all these other people are identifying with these same emotions that you thought were private to you and that you thought that you couldn't talk about. I mean, that to me is a beautiful thing, because you realize, that it is this sort of universal thing that we all feel, and that it's okay to talk about, and it's okay to express to each other.
Well, thank you, guys. I can't. I'm look how speechless I am today. Usually I'm like, you have totally floored me. The music, I fall in love every time I hear that song. I fall in love with life. I fall in love with the desire to go eat a big meal and hang out with friends. That song means so many things to me, so I can't imagine the billions of things it means to you. And the way you brought it to life, forget it.
She's pretty amazing.
Your fault. But you wrote it. I'd be singing nothing if it wasn't for you. Nice try.
Wow. You remember when you did Elsie Fest at Central Park?
That's where I first met you, was when I did Elsie Fest.
When you walked out on stage and Bethany and I were backstage, I went, what the hell is going on?
I think I was trying to find food, and then I'm like, who's that? Like, I turned around completely.
And the whole park, Central Park, just stopped. And of course, you don't like wearing shoes.
I hate shoes and stuff. I hate them
and stuff. But no, you were out there without shoes on, and you did this performance in the middle of the world famous Central Park. And I was like, God, what another moment! These are these moments our lives are filled with, and we're so blessed to have them and to be able to meet you guys and talk to you about this. And we could go on and on and on. We won't. But we could. Congratulations on every award that you've received and you're nominated for, and you're going to sing the song 50 million times. You know that, right?
You know what? We were talking about it today, and I was like, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
You should like have a counter. You should count every time you sing.
Oh, honey, I got a bunch to do. I got time to hold a counter in my hand.
People are texting and saying that they're all ugly crying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too. So
Yay.
sorry.
Yay, ugly crying.
Yay, ugly crying.
Of course, this is me. If you haven't downloaded the entire soundtrack, you owe it to yourself to do so. I cannot wait to be sitting in the theater tonight and just be a fan in the theater, to eat my popcorn, Milk Duds, whatever the F I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat it all and enjoy this film. And
the cool thing is, in the first 5 minutes, you're going to make a friend. And then it'll be it. You'll walk out with like numbers and going, we loved this. Let's go hang out later. I'm not kidding you. Happens all the time.
I can't wait.
You'll have to walk home because you have a lot of feelings.
I'm going to eat my feelings. Well, Keala Settle, Benj Pasek, and Justin Paul, thank you so much. It's just an honor to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
And Hugh Jackman.
Yes, Huey.
Thanks for calling in. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.